What's a secret you'll never tell your spouse or so? Story 1. That emotionally and sexually charged night we spent sharing a bed, drinking, and talking all night? I didn't keep getting up to pee. I kept getting up to have intense diarrhea. Reply. I just woke up everyone in the house with my laugh. Story 2. That sometimes I stay 10 to 15 minutes in the car before coming up the house. Not ashamed of it or something, but I like some me time to be private and not judged. Addendum. It's mostly so that the stress from outside I won't bring it to our home. Not good bringing negative energy, emotions when facing your kid at home. Reply. My wife, when she was my GF, used to do this when we first moved in together. We hadn't been together that long and we were both a little mistrusting and had a few other issues at the time. I remember getting so mad watching her in the car for sometimes 30 minutes. Sometimes, I'd hear her on the phone. I'd get so upset and could call her out on it time and time again. Until one day. She told me it was the only time she had between work obligations and home obligations where she'd just take a beat and not owe anyone anything. Sometimes she would call her mom, who she hasn't been able to see for years, to chat. And it's true, there was always so much going on and so much to do. I never bothered her again about it. She still does it from time to time. Lesson here is, communication will make it so much easier to give your partner some grace where they need it the most. Reply 2. My wife and I have a rule. When the other first comes home, don't discuss stressful topics or tasks that need to be done for half an hour. No one wants to walk in the door after a long commute to hear, you really need to finish up the laundry. It really is important to have some decompressing time. Story 3. One time I left my younger daughter, middle child, in a hot car and forgot she was there. My wife and my oldest daughter had gotten out and went into a theater where the oldest daughter had her dance recital. I parked the car about 100 feet away and for some reason, maybe because my wife and daughter got out, my stupid brain just decided to go into kid-free mode. To say I panicked 10 minutes later when I remembered would be an understatement. I was mid-conversation with someone and when I remembered her I just turned and ran. No explanation. I sprinted to the car, but knowing it was only 10 minutes I knew it would be okay. There she was. A little sweaty, but just sitting there and looking around. Smiled when she saw me. This memory haunts me. I frequently lose sleep or have to pull my mind off it. The thought of what would have happened and how easy it was to forget her will never leave me. Always double check for your kids, folks. Even if you think you're good or have a great memory. Reply. They say you start life with 2 bags, one full of luck and the other empty with experience. The trick is to fill the one before you empty the other. You spent some luck. It sounds like you managed to catch it in the experience bag. Reply 2. I'm not a parent, but one of my good friends told me, after she had kids, anytime she got in the car she would take off a shoe and put it in the back seat. She obviously wouldn't walk into wherever she was going with one shoe on, so it forced her to turn around to the back seat to grab it every time she drove. Kids in a car seat or not. I always remembered that, and thought if I was ever a parent that's probably something I should do. Story 4. I sleep better alone than with her, she loves sleeping together. Reply. This is the one. I can get to sleep in 10 minutes under my own terms. Under my girlfriend's terms, I basically have insomnia. Edit, short summary of the conditions. My girlfriend plays the same show every night to sleep, starting from season 1, and needs to have it loud enough to understand what they're saying in case she wakes up in the night. I can probably recite word for word Bob's Burgers, that 70s show, The Office, and a couple other shows first season LMAO. I told her we were sleeping with the TV muted one night and got mad and said, "You didn't even try to compromise with me, WTF. I'm like, dude, I stay up every single night with this shit, give me one night to sleep peacefully under my own terms." Story 5. That the reason I lost my boner that one time in '69 was because a piece of TP fell in my eye from her butt. Reply. This needs more attention. Thank you for the laugh. Story 6. That I'm the one who calls her every year and sings her happy birthday in a funny voice. If she's figured it out, she'd probably say that's what she'll never tell. Reply. She knows. She loves it. Reply 2. He calls her from his phone. Story 7. They didn't forget to buy them at the grocery store. In fact, at 2 a.m. ate the entire package of Oreos. Reply. How can those packages be so damn noisy? It's insane. OP reply. Well, full transparency. I took them to the garage, our bedroom in on the second floor. I needed the chocolate because period cravings. My partner needed them for the dessert she was going to make in the evening. I did replace them though. Story 8. I ate the last Reese's peanut butter egg and blamed it on one of the kids. Reply. I do that all the time. It's basically the entire reason I had kids. Reply 2. It's all fun and games until your partner snaps and sends the kids to the shadow realm. Story 9. That it did, actually, make their butt look big. Reply. Sir, I'm Officer McLovin from Marriage Police. I need you to come with me to the station. Believe me, you want to do this the easy way. Story 10. I failed school. I had to take a basic education course before getting into uni, and that it took me 8 years to graduate from a 3-year degree. Reply. That shows amazing perseverance. Kudos to you. Reply 2. I defended and submitted my master's thesis just last week, a 5-year degree that took me 11 years. Your words mean more than you probably know. I have a really hard time feeling like I've actually accomplished something because my head is busy bashing me for being so slow and useless. Thank you. Story 11. One time I thought I locked my keys in the car. They were in my pocket. Yep. I figured out halfway through, and by then I decided to die with this secret. Sometimes I detach the ignition key off my huge keychain to make it easier, and I peeked through my car, saw the keychain, and didn't even check my pockets and just assumed I left all my keys in the locked car. Stupid. We had to walk 2 miles to her friend's job up a hill in super cold, windy as fuck conditions, in like flip-flops and definitely not suitable clothing, and then we got a super awkward drive to her house from her friend. Then we had to drive 30 minutes to my house, get my keys, go back, and give the other dude some gas money. It took us like 2 hours, and we were both exhausted and wanting to go home at the start of it, and then I had of course to drive back and drop her off and then get gas and then go home. Lol. Reply. Take this to your fucking grave. Reply 2. Take this to your regular grave too. Story 12. Remember when we were engaged and visited your mom in the hospital, and she let a fart so rank that your eyes watered and we still talk about it 20 years later? That was me. Reply. It was me, Barry. Story 13. The person that shat on the floor at her parents' at Christmas and pissed everywhere in the bathroom wasn't in fact Granddad in his drunken stupor. It was in fact me. That bastard stole my bacon sandwich last Christmas, and he deserved the lecture, even if it was for something different. Reply. LMAO, finally something scandalous. Story 14. Early on in our relationship, I made breakfast for my then girlfriend and her kids using some pancake mix she had in the pantry. After making the pancakes and serving to them, I went to mix up a little more to make mine. And I realized there were some maggots in the dry mix. They were pretty much done eating and telling me how good they were. I decided that ignorance was better than telling them. Taking that one to my grave. Reply. Those were baby meal moths, better than maggots, but still take it to your grave. Story 15. I saw on the call display that the jewelry store was calling. I let him answer it. He immediately left to run an errand and came home and took me out skating, where he romantically proposed on a frozen pond under a floodlight on a February evening. We'll be married 20 years this year. I can't tell him I knew the whole time. I just can't. Story 16. Every paycheck I take out $25 to $30 in small bills and slip some bills into her pockets while I'm folding laundry. Money is tight, and it's the source of a lot of anxiety for her. So to see how relieved she gets when she finds it makes me happy. Reply. I do similar things. I earn more, but she refuses to do a reasonable split on the bills, and wants 50-50 even though 50% of the bills is 80% of her income and 50% of the bills is only 25% of mine. So every week when she tops up the gas, I secretly add £5 on between her top-ups so she thinks we are using less. Same with tobacco. I buy an extra pouch and keep filtering handfuls into her bag. We do a strict food budget, but after work I top up some things I know she dreads running out of, like wash tablets and sponges. She either knows, or just thinks we have somehow started using less of everything. I also put loose change in her purse. Not much, like £2 or £3 every day, and she gets really happy to find it. She also has money tins that you can't open where she saves for things. I'm pretty sure over 50% of the money in it is what I've put in. Story 17. I knew you were going to propose. You left an email up on the computer where you sent a ring to a friend asking her if I will like it. I immediately closed the email and went on about my day. We went on the 2-week-long trip to Hawaii. One of the days you told me to dress up and I wore this cute white summer dress. I still remember the way you looked at me. You looked at peace. We drove up the coast to the beach your friend recommended. As soon as we pull in, it dawns on you that this isn't a private beach. It's pure madness. People everywhere. I saw the look of panic on your face. I squeezed your arm and said, let's keep driving. We grabbed dinner at a mom-and-pop place and found the most beautiful secluded beach after. That's where you proposed and it was perfect. Reply. Damn. That's like a movie. Hey, stop. You're pretty awesome. Subscribe for more. Yo.